Hello, Sean here. Today I want to talk to you about one of my biggest discoveries of 2024. It's January 2025, and I feel like you need to know about Dr. K, aka Healthy Gamer. That's the name of his YouTube channel. He shares some really fantastic content, and I want to talk to you about one of his videos specifically. And I'm just going to summarize it in this short video to pique your interest. If you want to know more, watch the original video. And I'm going to provide a little twist of my own at the end, and you can let me know what you think in the comments. So, the video I want to talk to you about is called Psychiatrist Explains Why Life Isn't Fun. So Dr. K is a psychiatrist, and one of the reasons that I like Dr. K is that he's a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, so he has credentials you can trust, and he's also a coach. And his background is Hindu, and he spent a bit of time in an ashram in India, preparing to be a monk. So he's got a very interesting background, and all these different perspectives kind of converge. That means that his voice is unique. And so, yes, let me share today this idea of why life isn't fun. If you didn't get the memo. So, Alok, that's his name, Alok Kalodia. So in this video, he talks about clinical research into a phenomenon known as anhedonia. And this refers to a lack of interest or pleasure from life's experiences. And he talks about this in the context of research into schizophrenia. And one great thing that Dr. K does is he takes information from an academic context, from a context that may not seem relevant to you, and explains how it's also relevant to the average person looking to make progress in their own life. So this concept of anhedonia, which affects people with certain mental illnesses, but also affects everyone to a certain degree, more or less. And he looks into what allows some people to find motivation, and then to what extent other people, those of us maybe who struggle a bit more with motivation and anhedonia to some extent, how we can address this problem. So in this video, he comes up with the very simple idea, the very simple insight that, and this is based on clinical research that he explains in the video at great length. So if you want to watch the video, highly recommend it. And he talks about the idea of our brain, in some sense, in terms of, he talks about dopamine and reward circuits. He does a much better job than I can. And how if we have lots of desires, so if you think about it's the beginning of the year, you've probably got some goals. They may only be half consciously formed, but you probably have some things that you would like to work on, improve, change. Could be health related, career, and so on. And the idea is, and he connects us to the ancient Buddhist insight that the more desires you have, the unhappier you're going to be. And so his point in this video is largely that we need to be very conscious of the desires that we have, not to totally get rid of them, but let's say you've got 10 projects on the go. He takes this research and suggests that the implication is that the more projects, let's say, the more desires you have, if you want to get fit, you want to improve the number of followers you have on social media, you name the desire that you have. The more that you have, maybe on half of them, you're at an 8 out of 10 and you're improving. And then maybe on some other measures, you've got a lot more progress to make. His point is that this research suggests that by diluting, our brain does not go, okay, I'm making some great progress in 3 areas, and then in 7 areas, I'm stagnating. Because it averages out, apparently, this is what the research apparently suggests, that you're further ahead, editing down the number of desires that you have so that the overall average is higher. And so his point is not to abandon or throw in the towel with your different projects or desires, but to chunk them rather than having multiple desires concurrently, chunking them. So this is where my twist here. Look at your goals for the year, because if you think about goals, they're a form of desire. And Ask yourself which are the true priorities. And you may, like me, have these sort of intrusive thoughts where there may be some things that you've been wanting to work on them for quite a long time. And every once in a while, you'll just get this unbidden voice in your head going, oh, there's this you need to be working on. And so to be able to sort of have a satisfying answer to that voice in your head that goes, oh, you should be working on this, and then distracts you from other priorities, sit down and do some sort of a brief writing exercise where you set out one or two priorities for this month and give yourself permission to set aside your other desires. Don't suppress them. Don't just set them to one side. And then when that voice comes up saying that, oh, well, you've made progress on this, but there are 10 other things that you haven't done, well, you have an answer for that. You can say, yes, see you in February. So February 1st or January 31st, you sit down, and after a month, or it could be in 2 months, you sit down and then you decide what the focus is going to be for the next chunk of time. But you give yourself explicit permission to edit out as many desires as possible so that you will have a greater perceived sense of progress, and that will build the momentum that will perhaps allow you later on to add on more priorities, but stick with as few as possible. Now, like I said, Dr. Alok is far more eloquent and knowledgeable about this topic than me. I highly recommend you subscribe to him, and I will link this video of his in the description. Hope you found this useful. If so, leave a comment for me. I'd be thrilled to hear from you. Happy New Year.